Now, Brad, whenever we talk about infrastructure for road safety, I think the natural instinct is to think about asphalt and barriers and so on. But I've always been keen to think about digital and communications infrastructure as part of that same landscape. So tell us about what Virgin Media O2 has been working on in that space.
Yeah, so I think what's prevalent in the transport industry, particularly over probably the last 5 years or so, is the digitisation of infrastructure. And I think one good example of that is the uptake and increase that we've seen in IoT devices, which are playing a really big role in essentially creating connections between unconnected infrastructure. I think while we see value in this, we also understand that people need to also respond to that infrastructure. And we can play a role in that and interpret how people are responding to connected and unconnected infrastructure. So what we do is we essentially use aggregated and anonymized data, which is captured from our mobile phones, and it helps plan and understand travel demands and people movements and how they interact with the road network, the highway network, the station network, all that kind of various different modes of transport. And I think what's really important here is that travel patterns are changing dramatically, and we can see that in the last couple of years in particular, where we've seen huge drops in people numbers on trains, and an increase in the road network and people travelling at different times of the day. So I think where we can play a role and aid the conversation with that is to help with understanding real-time data or near real-time data and big data sets to interpret how people are travelling now as opposed to necessarily what happened a couple of years ago. So I think we need to move away from the traditional ways of transport modelling, transport planning, and move to a more real-time basis and understanding of how people are moving their behavioural habits from different transport modes, even with active travel modes and e-scooters and things like that. So where we can help is provide that near real-time data. So we're furnishing with a lot of our customers with near real-time understanding of people movement and also understanding about what types of modes they're taking. And what we've been able to do, particularly over the last couple of years, is add in more contextual data and demographic type data, which plays, again, another really important role, because are they someone who's a working professional, or actually are they someone that stays at home more regularly, or potentially maybe they're disabled and those things, and they need different travel methods and patterns. So we're in a really good position now to support modelling companies that are playing in this digital twin space and trying to understand real-time scenario planning. So we're working with both system integrators and public and private sector customers, offering these large data sets to help understand the change in these behavioural habits.